So today we're going to use we're going to use bands, ankles, knees, and wrists. So you can choose a level of resistance that feels appropriate. As we go down the legs, you might want to be a little bit lighter. But we're just going to start side to side, big step, feel the ball of the toe hit the ground and kind of sit back into the heel. Hips are horizontal. For this first one, if we can just go two hands, when you're on the single leg balance, put two hands forward, sit back into hip, make sure that the spine stays vertical, that I'm not side leaning as you get to that single leg balance. That's looking good from the couple screens I can see. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Good. Now pick one foot. It's going to be side step and squat and then back to balance. So we're just doing a small sumo squat, but no kick out here. Step out, nice and deep. Come back into balance. The shoulder can get just outside of the foot, but try to keep the hip over the foot. Don't allow it to swing past as we come to single leg balance. Maybe that weight comes out to 50-50. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch your plant foot, and we're going right into this next side here. Two hands forward, making sure that we're continuing to connect the sit bones. That's going to externally rotate the hips and tuck the pelvis just a little bit so that we can stay open as you come down. 25 seconds on this side. So the knees are out, sit bones are connected, but the ball of the foot stays down. I'm not pushing to the outside edge of the shoe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to skaters. If you want to speed this up or open it up a little bit, second time, you may. So pick a width, pick a size that you can go. We still have 40 seconds here. Twenty seconds. Ten seconds. 3, 2, 1. Good. Give those hips a little bit of a break. 10 seconds, and we're going to go to a clamshell squat. So with the 1 foot balance, or 1 foot planted, knees aligned with the second toe, open the knee 90 degrees, chest and hips 45 degrees. Have about 2 fist lengths, maybe a little more between your heels going both directions. So I'm not getting all the way back to a straight line. Begin, step, squat, come back into balance. The 1 foot stays planted. Again, the hips are horizontal, so I'm not hiking up to come around, just driving straight out. Keep that planted knee forward. Come back. 15 seconds. When we're done with this side, we're going to go straight into the other side. 3, 2, 1. Switch your plant foot and begin. Focus on driving from that knee. So the hip is moving from the heel. We're positioning the body away from the knee and foot. But protect that knee. Use the hip to do the work. 15 seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Give your hips a little bit of a break. Second time through, you're gonna have the option to turn things up if it's appropriate. So on this first skater, if you want to get a little bit wider or higher, but focus on that controlled landing through the planted foot, landing quietly and getting the hip back in the heel, or the heel down and the hip back, excuse me. Begin. 30 seconds here. Again, the hip is behind the heel. I'm not letting it slide to the outside. Ball of foot back to the heel. Getting the big toe and the ball of foot engaged will help engage that adductor and allow you to pull straight back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Sumo squat. So the one foot's planted, out, back, in. This time we can add just a little bit of a side T or a kick out. Begin. The difference between the side T and the kick out is which leg is moving. What doesn't change is the hips, ribs, shoulders, and eyes are going to be parallel. So if I'm doing a kick out, it's not a big side bendy momentum kick out. It's just swinging that leg straight out to the side on the up. If you're doing a side T, the movement comes from the plant foot, but everything above is moving as a single unit. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. 5 seconds, and we'll do sumo squats on the other side. Starting in 3. And begin. And you can alternate if you'd like to. You can mix this one up a little bit. Halfway. Find those heels. Continue to keep the sit bones connected and lift the low abs. The temptation on the side T and kick out is to kind of hinge at the hip and kick forward. That's going to drive the work into the kind of anterior lateral aspect. We want to keep it behind the seam of your shorts. Stay in that glute med. Try and stay away from the tensor fasciae lata, which is the one more in the front of the hip. 3, 2, 1. Good. Last skater here. This time it's going to be a shuffle. So 1, 2, 1. If it's more appropriate to do a single leg skater, just really focus on the cues of where that weight is in your foot, absorbing into the hip, you can do that. If you want to speed it up, you can do that as well. We can get bigger. So hopefully we've all got an appropriate option to make sure we're getting the most out of this while getting the heart rate up a little bit. 15 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. The last one with the band above the knees, it's going to be that clamshell squat. So plant one foot and begin. As we're getting warmed up, you can try and get a little bit deeper, but the focus is more about that controlled rotation through the planted foot, moving the upper body and the hip on top of a stable femur and lower leg, so that knee doesn't become the victim of poor mechanics above or below. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Straight into the other side and begin. "30 seconds. Stay focused here, long through the spine. Pelvic floor, low abs are lifted. "15 seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. You're done with the band above your knees, unless you don't do banded ankles. But we can take that off, set it aside, come down to the ground. So this first one, we've got options. It's going to be up downs. So we're going from hand, so elbow, elbow, hand, hand, leading with one side. If that's too much load through the wrist or likely to get into the neck and shoulders, just come to a tall plank and do shoulder taps. You can also do overhead reaches to challenge away from that, or challenge into the shoulder mechanics a little bit more. But if it's appropriate, let's go up downs, leading with one hand. Begin, please. Trying not to let those hips rock. Shoulders stay more or pretty close to horizontal, so I'm not getting a huge deficit here where one side's dropped way below. Belly button to spine, chin tucked. 10 seconds. Three, 2, 1. Good. Remember which hand you led with. Come to your back. And it's going to be a marching bridge, but we're going to bring the feet out. So it's away, away, in. Continue with the one leading foot. So I led with my right hand. I'm now leading with my right foot, so I can just make it easy on myself to remember. But tuck that tailbone. Begin if you haven't. Your choice on how big a step you take, but we're still trying to limit that rotation at the hips. Chin slightly tucked so the neck is relaxed. Elbows down or up, your choice. 20 seconds here. Three, 2, 1. Good. Flip back over. Up downs, leading with the other hand. So again, knees or feet. Feet are going to be about shoulder width apart if you're going from feet. But begin. Also have the shoulder tap option or a static plank. Trying to keep that hip angle, low back angle the same so there's no separation. Whatever your contact point with the ground is, that would be the pivot. Your arms are moving the spine and legs as a single piece. 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Rest. And back to bridge. Same march as before, but with the other foot. So start with that small tailbone tuck. And out, in. Feet stay vertical. If you're going from heels, if you need to get flat foot, have just a little bit wider base. Make sure that that doesn't pull the knees in. Sit bones connected, tailbone tuck. So the knees are still aligned with the second toe. Even if we're getting wider as we go out, the knees and second toe will stay aligned. 25 seconds. Belly button to spine. Make sure we're not holding our breath here. Stay relaxed through the neck. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Skier abs or dying bug, your choice. So if you're doing dying bug, you can go leg up or down, but don't allow the spine to move. If we're doing skier abs, put that elbow on the ground and try to have the hinge occur at the hip so your sternum stays up when you come up. You're not rounding. Begin. In either instance, you can modify the length of the legs by bending the knee, change the leverage so that hip flexor doesn't take over. We should feel the work in your abdomen, stabilizing through the core so that hip flexor doesn't tighten up by pulling you into extension. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch sides. With the dying bug, you can go foot up or down, and you can also put it down as you go. Begin. Chin stays lightly off the chest, as if you're holding a fragile egg or something about tennis ball size. Halfway on this side. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Side plank. So we're not doing any dynamic movement here. We're just getting stable. Get that whole forearm down. Second hand down is optional. Connect the ribs and hips. If we're going hand up, make sure that shoulder's pulled down away from your ear. Palm facing forward. Eyes are about 10, 12 feet in front of you, slightly below what will feel like eye level. So that chin slightly tucked. If you need to put your tongue flat to the roof of the mouth, please do. Continue to breathe here. 20 seconds. And we're using that breath to check in. What's the position of our ribs as it relates to the arm? Are we starting to drop down? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, switch sides. Starting in 3, 2, 1, forearm fingertips up, and we're in. If you feel like you're having a little bit of trouble staying out of your back, one option is to put that hand down. That will likely bring you into a slightly forward position, but that will bias you into your obliques and away from that QL and low back. So if you feel like that's QL is trying to help, if it's a temptation for the back to tighten up, you can just bring that hand forward. You don't even have to put pressure into it, but just by putting it down, it'll change the position and bias you away from the back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, rest. Come down, you're gonna stay on your side, bring your knees up nice and high. So this can be done as a stretch. We're gonna do it as an active exercise. So with my knees up high and my bottom arm supporting my head, I'm gonna reach forward. Imagine you're pulling like a heavy rope. As you breathe out, you're pulling your shoulder blade and elbow back. You're also exhaling and pulling your ribs back. Your head will turn with your sternum, but try and feel that mid back, feel the top oblique. Come back forward, breathe in. So we're actively pulling the ribs back, actively pulling the shoulder blade to the spine. My bottom arm is supporting my neck. So hopefully this maybe feel a little bit of a chest stretch, maybe a little bit of low back, but we're also actively working the serratus anterior and some of the obliques as we rotate that rib cage. 3, 2, 1, switch sides. So the head is supported by that bottom hand. Knees are up nice and high. That's going to protect the low back. Reach, exhale, pull the shoulder blade, pull the ribs. I'm not letting the ribs pop up. They're coming down and back towards the floor, just like my shoulder blade. If you want to layer in a little bit of extra active, push the knees together so we're getting active adductor. One more. Good, and rest there. Come back to hands and knees. We're going up, down, second time through. Starting in 5, 3, 2, 1. Just replace the elbow with your hand, come right back up. If that's too much, we can go shoulder taps. You can go multiple angles with that arm, trying not to let the spine move as you challenge that center of gravity. Eyes are going straight down. When you're in the high plank or push-up position, they're over your fingertips or your knuckles. When you're down, they're over your wrists. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Back to bridge. Marching forward and backwards. This is one now, second time through. If we're a little more comfortable, core feels a little warmed up. Hopefully, you can lengthen that leg out further, but don't allow that to draw you into extension. Keep the belly button and ribs pulled down and connected in front. 30 seconds. Ten seconds. 3, 2, 1. Good. Up downs on the other side. 5 seconds here. 3, 2, 1. If we are doing the up downs, make sure we're keeping those elbows in, the eye of the elbows pointed forward to help set the shoulder blades down away from your ears. That same cue is true in a high plank. If you're doing shoulder taps, try to keep the elbows, the point of the elbow going down towards your feet, shoulders down away from your ears as you press into the ground, pulling your ribs and belly button up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Good. Marching bridge, starting in 3, 2, and begin. A couple different variables here. The length of your step, the further you go, the more challenge your hamstrings will have, the more challenging it will be to maintain that neutral pelvis. If you want to work a little more rotational control, you can step wider, or you could do both. 30 seconds. Ten seconds. 3, 2, 1. Good. Skier ab or dying bug. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Begin. So this time through, we have an option. Might make it a little bit more complicated since different people will be doing different things. But if you'd like, if you're doing the dying bug, you're focused on the ribs. Exhale as that hand comes overhead, the hip as you get long. Skier abs, it's a little more one-sided bias. But if you'd like to now do a side plank, challenging the same side for skier abs, challenging the same arm for dying bug, you can double up on one side that way. So if you do that, it would be dying bug side plank, and then the other side dying bug, the other side plank, or you can just switch sides, whatever you'd like to do here. Starting in rest, and we're going to start the other in 5. So I did skier abs. My right elbow was up towards the side. I was working my right oblique. I'm now going to do a right side plank. Up and begin. If you did dying bug, you can do the other side dying bug or the other side skier abs. Or if you were doing right arm dying bug, right arm side plank. Good. 30 seconds here. Use the breath to check in. Connecting the ribs and hips. Shoulder blades down out of the ears. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Down and switch. So some of you might be doing your first side plank or your second side of skier abs or dying bug. Begin, please. Neck stays relaxed. Chin slightly tucked, but still a good 1.5 to 2 inches off your chest, maybe even 3. Five seconds. 3, 2, 1. Good. Last one. So everyone will reunite on last side plank here, starting in 2, 1. Begin. Knees or feet, keep breathing. Don't allow that chest to pop forward. Exhale to pull up and back, pressing the forearm into the ground. Ten seconds. Three, 2, 1. Good. And rest there. Come back up to your feet. Grab a band for your ankles. If you want to grab a quick sip of water, now would be a good time as we transition back up. So banded ankles, if you don't do banded ankles because of your knees or hips, you can move it up. But this first one's going to be a mini squat. It's static. And kind of from that mini squat, which is lower than an athletic stance, you're going to be doing quick feet. One foot is going to come in and out. So from here, in and out. If you have a seam in the floor or the edge of a yoga mat, something like that, try and clear the foot every single time. There's no lateral movement of the upper body. Starting in 3, 2, 1. So if we took a picture and or you were behind a shelf and we took a picture of your upper body, I wouldn't know whether your foot is in or out. If you can pick 2 points, maybe something on the floor and then the wall behind it, try to keep your eyes and those 2 points aligned. If you have a mirror or something that gives you a reflection, that's helpful also. 20 seconds. Picking both feet up each time, finding both heels each time. Don't get stuck into your calves here. Pelvic floor lifted, low abs lifted. 10 seconds. Three, 2, 1. Good. Stand up, give your hips a little break. Other side starts in 5, 3, 2, 1. Begin. Picking that plant foot all the way up each time. Don't just come up to toes. Good. Halfway. Ten seconds. Keep those sit bones connected, pelvic floor, low abs lifted. Keep all the work behind the seam of your shorts or pants. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Come down to the ground. You're going to put that band over the top of your feet as we do skaters. Pointers. So one hand forward, the other heel back, in and out, staying on the one side. Begin. Exhale as you get long. You're extending the heel backwards, not up, so that we're getting hamstring and glute, but staying out of the low back here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a moment, switch sides. So get reset up. Hands are about under shoulders, knees are about under hips. If you want to go a little bit wider, you may. Other side in 2, 1, begin. Make sure that once we get up onto those 2 points, well, 3 with your toe down, but once we take the arm and leg away, don't shift over the knee. Try to keep that hand engaged, actively pushing down into the ground, whether that be from a fist or palm. 15 seconds. If you are going from palm down, make sure you get a little bit of pressure into your fingertips. Try to activate the forearm flexors. That'll help unload the wrist joint. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Band comes off. Keep it close. We're going to be standing and doing forward tees. Starting in 2, 1. Begin. 1 foot planted. Hopefully by doing all that band work in both the hamstring and glute, you can feel the load as it lengthens on that planted foot. Weights in the heel. Toes are spread and engaged. But really reach that free heel back. Feel the hamstring and glute of the planted side long through the spine. Focus on the length through the spine and the hips staying horizontal. From there, you can start to try and lengthen and get all the way down to hand on the ground. But the goal, first and foremost, is the hip is rotating forward and back. There's no opening. The spine stays long. Then we're paying more attention to how much hip hinge you can get. 3, 2, 1, up and switch feet. Starting in 2, 1, begin. Long through the neck, opposite hand towards big toe or both hands down. Sometimes opposite hand helps draw the hips into that horizontal position. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Back to band on the ankles. So we're going to repeat those same 3. Starting with the mini squat, quick feet in and out in 10 seconds. Find the heels, engage those low abs, starting in 2, 1, begin. It's this one, I know I mentioned looking up, but make sure that if we looked up, it's coming from the hips. Don't look forward from neck extension. That'll often drive you into hip extension. "30 seconds. "10 seconds. Keep breathing. Find those heels. If you need to slow it down in order not to get into the hip flexors, please do. 3, 2, 1. Rest. 10 seconds before the other side. Starting in 3, 2, 1, begin. Both feet up, shoulders, head quiet. Do try to give yourself some sort of physical reference to make sure that foot's getting in and out. As we get tired here, it's really tempting to just move that foot like an inch, if that. Get in and out. 20 seconds. Use the breath, check in, drop the ribs, drop the tailbone, lift the pelvic floor, lift the low abs. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, back down to the ground. Last one with the band. For the legs, we're in that pointer. Starting in 2, 1, begin. Pick a side, stay on that side. "20 seconds. Breathing out as you get long. Using the breath to keep the ribs pulled up. Three, 2, 1. Good. And switch sides. Starting in 2, 1, begin. The foot stays vertical as you reach the heel backwards. Don't allow that toe to turn out. Check in on the neck and planted arm. Are you actively pressing into the ground to lift the ribs up, engaging that serratus to help anchor the shoulder blade away from your ear? 15 seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest. You are done with having a band on your legs today. Come up. Forward tees. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Begin. Toes are spread, actively pulling that hip back up towards the ceiling on the planted leg. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch sides and begin. Really focus on those hip mechanics. Hopefully the hips are at least warmed up by now with all the band work. But don't rush through it. Stay in control. 15 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest. Good. Grab a band for your wrists. So from here, skaters, no band. Hands are going to be behind you, palms facing one another. As I skate wide, my hands get wide. Shoulder blades stay down. So I'm not reaching up and out, I'm reaching down and out. You might even feel length and like even some stretch through that upper trap if we're doing this, depending on how tight you are. Out and balance, out, balance. Keeping the chin tucked. One side of the tubing, keep it in contact with your backside. Pull those shoulder blades down, and then the hands come out. But I'm not way back here, allowing the shoulders to roll over the front, keeping that band right against the backside. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Static lunge. This time the elbows are going to be by your ribs, palms are up. So pick one planted foot, drop back into a lunge, keep the weight through the heel so I'm not allowing it to slide forward into the toes. The heel's down, hips are perpendicular, palms are up, and we're just doing a little external rotation here. So my forearms are not quite horizontal. They're perpendicular to my ribs. My spine is at a slightly forward angle. So I'm looking down, nose over toes, weights in the heel. Ten seconds on this side. We're actually going to stay on this side and change up the arms so we get a little bit of a different muscle group. 3, 2, 1. Stay on that side. Now grab the band as if it's a steering wheel. Step back, punch and row. Come up, punch and row. So the same foot is planted as what was on that static lunge. Chest turns a little bit, but I'm punching my hand opposite the forward knee. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Static lunge, palm up, external rotation. So get into that heel, nose over toes. It's not laterally over toes, but forward, backwards over toes. Elbows are up on your ribs, and begin. Good, 30 seconds here. Keep those ribs drawn down, shoulder blades back. Doesn't require a lot of movement here, maybe just 2 or 3 inches, trying to get those thumbs out to the outside in the tubing. Pull the shoulder blades back. All that work should be in the back of your shoulder. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest. Step back lunge and punch. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Begin. Hands stay low, chin stays tucked. Try to stay long through the neck. If you feel like this is getting into your neck or shoulders, keep your elbows below the bra line. "15 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Rest. Thank you for spending your Saturday morning with me, and I hope you have a great rest of your weekend.